with me on a trip into angling adventure. We'll ride the ragged edge where the fish are big and wild. From the fabled Walker's Cay, we'll travel to the ends of the earth, to the loneliest oceans and the farthest rivers in search of the best light tackle action. We'll pit the smallest lures and the lightest rods against the toughest fish, and we'll burn the stories into the memory of film on the Walker's Cay Chronicles. It was supposed to be a day in the Everglades with my friend John Donnell, but he'd called in the night before and said the flu had arrived unannounced and he'd be sticking close to home. So I went anyway, driving across the southern tip of the Florida Peninsula, feeling a little more at ease, a little freer with every mile. Florida is a study in contrasts. In a matter of minutes, you can go from high-tech to deep wilderness, and nowhere is this more obvious than the 50-mile trip from Miami to the Glades. Along the way to Flamingo, where I would launch my skiff, I stopped at a place I had known since childhood. It's a freshwater pond where in winter, all manner of life gathers. I had time, lots of it. It would be hours before the tides would be right for optimum fishing. So I broke out my camera and began recording the action at the pond, this place I'd known all my life. There are now hundreds of these ponds where once there were thousands. The others have either all dried up or been swallowed by the spread of progress. At best, it's a dubious progress that will someday swallow us too. But for now, this pond remains clean and alive. It's a world complete unto itself, where prehistory lives in its shadowed depths. I walked through the sawgrass, my legs and feet feeling the water that has come down from hundreds of miles to the north. It's cool and clean and alive as it sifts seaward through the grass. An hour or so later, I'm at Flamingo, on the edge of the backcountry, where the Glades meet Florida Bay, and under the eye of a huge gator, I launch my boat and set off into a world few know and none control. It's a world that has been refuge to outcasts and criminals, bootleggers and drug smugglers. It has also been refuge to nature lovers. It's my refuge. Every channel, every lake, and every pond is a different room or a different passageway in a great house crafted by the wind and the water and the sun. There is no place where I feel closer to myself than here, in this house called the backcountry. As a boy, I explored these water courses, each an entrance to adventure. And now, even now, as I move regretfully into the last third of my life, the boy in me, the one that grew up in Miami, comes out to play. With no mirror to remind me of the time past, I'm young again, feeling the lift of endless possibility, caught in the web of wonder. I'm alone, but not lonely. I'm free, but only if I go with it. Only if I feel the flow and let it take me along am I at rest. That's the trick learned long ago, and like riding a bike, only better. I never forgot it. And now each trip back here, where life moves without the aid of traffic lights or bridges or telephone lines, is a gift that never wears out, never breaks or gets stolen. This is my house. I come back as often as I can. Oh man, my first cast. A little redfish, I don't believe it. So what are you doing here?
The Walker's Cay Chronicles is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. And by Mercury Outboards. Only Merc lets you set the water on fire. The Offshore Angler's Catalog. The Walker's Cay Hotel and Marina offers some of the best angling and diving in the world. Call 1-800-WALKERS or visit our website at www.walkersk.com.
I tried another life once. I'd left the backcountry and the Keys and the Everglades. I'd decided, or better, I'd been persuaded, that fly fishing and poling a boat were trivial pursuits, and that I needed to do something more important, something of substance. So I dressed in a suit and a tie and went to an office in a bank. And every day I listened to people tell me why they should be given a loan. I did this for a number of years, and all the time I knew something was missing from my life, something of a deep and very personal nature. Maybe if I had never known about the magic that lives in the outdoors, maybe I would have been okay behind that desk. But I did know, and I had to get out before I forgot what it was like to be happy. And I came back to the wind and water and the sun, back to my house with the endless corridors and uncounted rooms like this one. What is in this room? What lies beneath the surface waiting? It could be a 100-pound tarpon or a big redfish or an alligator gar. There's no way of knowing except to tie on a fly and send it out there to investigate. This moment, when you know something is about to happen, is worth a lifetime of making loans. Oh, man. Oh. I lay the fish across my palm, and while it rests, I take out the fly. Then I ease it back into its world, completing the ritual of catch and release. I cannot begin to tell you how important it has become that each fish lives. Maybe it's my advancing life that has caused this concern, but it's real as anything I have ever known, and it increases with every year. Now the heat of midday drives the fish into the shadows, and I rest, eating lunch and watching the birds settle into the trees for their afternoon cool down. Then, taking their cue, I slip into something comfortable. Flip Pallot here with a brand new offer. Now you can own all 6 seasons of our award-winning series, The Walker's Cay Chronicles. Yes! 3 new seasons of Walker's Cay Classics are now available on home video. Each year's set of 13 complete episodes is still only $89.95, plus shipping and handling. Order from our website or call 1-800-WALKERS today. My shadow grows long and the wind lifts, ruffling my shirt and cooling my burned face. As I move out into a wide bay, the tide is running now, and across the shallows a flock of flamingos stretches in a pink line, and with my casting rod at the ready, I can't resist the urge to rouse them. They get up as I pass their safety line, and as I watch them fly away downwind, it occurs to me that only soulless types could harm such beauty. I've been alone throughout the day. I've not seen another boat. Now with the tide strong on the downside and the wind up and the sun low, the flats are a paradise of good feeling, a happy house with a high ceiling. I look for sign of fish. Tarpon, snook, redfish, it doesn't matter. This is a communal flat, open to all types, and I'm a democratic angler. There, that ripple on the surface. Probably a redfish on the move.
You little beauty. Go ahead, do your thing.
The redfish, silvery from its travels in the Gulf, fights with an oceanic strength. An alligator has also caught a fish and struggles to ingest it whole. For all its expert killing technique, this gator is an amateur at the business of swallowing. And I wonder if it has my redfish in its maw. day dying rapidly, I move down the edge of the flat, looking for more sign. I want to catch a fat snook for supper before the sun goes down.
The Walker's Cay Chronicles is being brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. And by Mercury Outboards. Only Merc lets you set the water on fire. The Offshore Anglers Catalog. The Walker's Cay Hotel and Marina offers some of the best angling and diving in the world. Call 1-800-WALKERS or visit our website at www.walkersk.com.
The likelihood of a big catch is draining rapidly now. The flat appears empty, but I know that all it takes is a single shadow or a flash, and I could be tied to something strong and full of life. And so I keep looking, scanning the surface, and I keep poling as the tide takes me along toward night. Then I see something, a fin waving. So hard to see now, and I trade my casting rod for a fly rod. One flight of the fly is all it takes, and my day approaches a perfect ending. With the redfish set loose, I sense closure on this gift of a day. But there's one thing more I want to do. So I crank up, and with the clouds building like warships on the horizon, I head for an island I know, a place I once called my own. I've walked this shore for 4 decades. I've seen it on good days and bad. I've stayed the night on its beach, and I've weathered storms in its lee, and I've seen it all but blown away by a hurricane. Yet it remains, despite the years of change, a fixture, you might say, in my house, where all things wild live under the same roof. Incidentally, John Donnell's flu kept him in bed for a week. He's fine now and planning another trip to the backcountry. He wants to do it soon. I'm ready.